And welcome to our online show this week. Welcome to Nespeakiw show. Tonight's episode is how to create English clubs. This is something wonderful that everyone out there can do. And having a club, a group to practice with is one of the best ways to strengthen our English language skills. So my name is Megan. I'm a cultural attaché at U.S.Embassy, Algiers. And I'm really lucky to have two guests on the show today, Fuad Bouaden and Arij Boukemkem. And both Fuad and Arij have worked on and helped start different English clubs. So we're going to talk to them tonight about their experience and give you advice for how you can do the same. Fuad and Arij, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Welcome and Happy New Year. I know our viewers are really excited to talk tonight about how to start an English language club.
Thank you for the invitation. And welcome to our audience from Algeria and from around the world if they're watching from another country.
Well, maybe we can start a little bit asking about your experience. Tell us a little bit about your experience with the Conversation Club and how volunteering at the Conversation Club in Constantine helped you advance in your career. So we'll start maybe with the Conversation Club and then dig into viewers. We've got some amazing exchange program experience here. So get ready to hear about Fuad's great experience. Oh, go ahead and tell us a little bit about volunteering.
Okay. So I will start talking about my experience in joining English clubs at the University of Constantine. We have created lots of English clubs, starting with the one that my friends created, and then we created our own clubs. English clubs, of course, they help students or English learners, not only students, because we used to welcome all people from different walks of life. So they help them to practice English, especially speaking, listening, in a relaxed environment, informal way, without any anxiety, without any shyness. For example, some people tend to feel shy to talk to people who are higher in level than them. So we were together with the other students who are from different levels of English. Some of them are advanced, some of them are beginners, but we learned from each other. So each time we gather, we agree on a date or place to meet, and then we choose a topic to talk about, and then we try to learn new words, new expressions about that topic, and we share them with all the group. So that's my beginning with English clubs. And then when I became a teacher, I tried to do the same with my students. In fact, I created an informal club. It's just not announced or between me and my students. We agreed to meet. Each time we have a free time, we meet. Then we talk about a topic in a very relaxed and informal way. I tell my students to call me Fuad by my name, not teacher, so that to give them a friendly environment. And personally, I have noticed the advancement of my students, the improvement in their language skills, especially listening and speaking. I remember once one of my students, during an event in my school, she gave me a thank you letter in English, and she wrote it herself, and she said it without reading from a paper. And I was really astonished by her level of English in speaking. That's my experience in English clubs, maybe Arij.
Wow, that's such an amazing, I think, especially to see some of the results that
Exactly.
Your participants were writing after. What were some of the topics that you guys talked about in your club that you helped create?
The topics in general I deal with nowadays, I deal with the students, secondary school students. So we talk about general topics like daily life topics, food, um, phone calls, how to send emails, how to use Facebook in English. So each time I ask my students what do they need to learn in English, and then try to make it just like a conversation. If they ask me how to write the word or how to use it in a sentence, I would give them examples and illustrate with my pronunciation to the word, and they practice. The first thing I would like my students to learn is to learn how to be self-confident. When they want to learn English, they don't care about the environment, because here in Algeria, especially between two quotations, when students try to learn English in the beginning, some people tend to laugh at them and they discourage them. And I always ask my students to be confident, to focus on their goal, and to go ahead. So never look back or look at the comments they receive from their counterparts or their classmates or even people on the street.
I think that's wonderful. Something else about your experience that I want to highlight is that for our viewers, it can be a good idea to have, if available, a teacher in your group or someone at an advanced level. Although that's not necessary, as Fuad mentioned, there's a lot of different types of English clubs. Your club could be more formal or it could be informal. But Fuad, something I want to highlight about your club is that you bring this rich experience of being a teacher to the club and being able to give corrections, to share when students have questions. This is a good transition to talk about your experience in our exchange program called the T program. So this is the Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program. It's a 6-week program in the United States. Teachers take academic seminars for professional developments, for professional development at a host university. Fuad, tell us a little bit, what was that experience like? You were at the University of Arkansas for those 6 weeks. And how did volunteering at an English club help you get there?
Wow, yes. This question is exactly to the point. So I would like to tell the audience that participating in an English club or participating in community service activities, because creating an English club is not only for the purpose of learning a language. We sometimes tend to organize cleaning campaigns, visits to the elderly houses, or other activities that requires service to the community. And one of the requirements or one of the essays that you should write for the Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program is to tell them about your experience in community service, so that you will be eligible, or you will have your application accepted if you have previous experience in volunteering or community service. By the way, as my work at the American Corner in Constantine, we used to create English clubs there, and we used to have activities like cleaning campaigns and so on. So the U.S. Embassy gave us certificates of appreciation for volunteer service. And that certificate of appreciation helped me a lot to achieve some professional and personal goals, including the Fulbright T scholarship.
That's wonderful. And what was your experience like on the T program? What was it like at University of Arkansas?
Wow, that's really amazing. It was really amazing. Each time my friends or my colleagues or even people from Algeria asked me about my experience, I would say it was just like a piece of paradise. So it's a fully funded it's fully funded program. So people never worry about their food, their accommodation, or even the tuition fees at the university. So everything is fully funded. And my experience in Arkansas was an amazing experience. It was my first time to travel out of Algeria. And luckily, it was to the land of my dreams, the United States. And Arkansas, it is called the natural state. It's a beautiful state. With the University of Arkansas also is a very beautiful university. People there are very friendly. We have received high quality training with some teachers. I would mention their names. Mr. Joseph was the best one I have ever had a training with. And this program not only includes professional development training, but also it includes field experience in which teachers would go to a school, a junior high school or a high school, to meet with some other teachers, to co-teach, observe classes, and even teach. If you agree with the teacher, you show, for example, what you want to teach the students, and you will have the opportunity to teach in high schools or junior high schools in America. Also, it includes visits to families. You will have a host family so that you discover inside the family or the social life of the Americans, their traditions, their culture, and you will also have visits, formal visits. I had the opportunity to meet the governor of Arkansas.
Wow.
And yeah, we have met really in person, and we had an informal chat. We have attended a session of the Arkansas Senate, and I've met the mayor of Fayetteville. I was in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and you will have also trips to different places like museums, like parks, and that would give you an opportunity to meet more and more people from different walks of life.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing about your experience, Fuad. So for our listeners here today who are teachers, that experience, it's an exchange program called the T, Teaching Excellence and Achievement. The application is open now, so I encourage you to go to the embassy's website, program about exchanges. You can read all of the information there. The application is due March 20th. So you have lots of good time to get it started. We're going to have another live session in just a few weeks on the 19th, just about the T program. So tune in to learn more about that. And when you're applying to our exchange programs, making your essays very specific, talk about why this program, what you hope to achieve. And we would love to have you apply. So switching gears, thinking about what went into that application, how it's good and helpful for us to develop professionally. Reed, you did a lot of amazing work of volunteering with conversation clubs, volunteering at what we call our reading room in Constantine. Tell us a little bit about those experiences.
Okay, first of all, good evening, everyone. I hope you had an amazing day. Well, the reading room and library, it was my first experience ever because I was a shy person. I didn't have enough courage to engage in such activities. Well, thanks to Miss Erin Waters, she encouraged me and my friends to go through this experience, and it was amazing. I learned so many things about English language and about many other things like soft skills and how to be a confident person. And I knew many people as Rosa and other from the embassy, and I'm so pleased and honored to know them. In addition to the reading room and library, I organized some events during the pandemic, like Holt Prize. We did it for 3 months, and it was such a good experience. Unfortunately, at the last day, day of the event, it cancelled because of some political reasons between countries. Also, I organized Wikistage Constantine just last year, and it was also a good experience, though it was not about English and not about my branch of studying, but it was nice. A friend of mine advised me to go through such an experience, and I really love it. And now 2 years ago, I started a club here in Gigel with the help of a private school of languages. And it didn't last because they thought it's a waste of time, but it's not. And they break my potential.
Well, I think that's normal and it happens. I think that's one of the challenges with the conversation club is how do you keep up momentum? What advice do you have for our listeners about how to keep momentum up about a group? One thing that comes to my mind is it can be helpful to get new people as you go along. That way, if somebody does need to drop out, you're bringing in new people as well. That can help keep momentum. And sometimes the energy that a new person brings in is really helpful. So if you have a way that you're organizing your club, maybe it's on Facebook, maybe it's on WhatsApp, taking that effort to reach out to new people and get them added in, I think can help keep momentum up for a conversation club. Do you guys have any other advice?
For me, I would like to say that to keep momentum for English or conversation clubs is to bring something that your members or the members of the English club or the conversation club, the topics that they like much, and they would like to talk about. Also, you can bring, for example, games or quizzes with prizes that you would give to winners so that you encourage them to come more and more times. Give them opportunity to speak, to talk about themselves, because people, when they talk about themselves, they feel valuable and they would like to come back. Also, try to make it punctual. Try to agree about a specific time, a specific place, and meet at that specific time and in that specific place. I will give an example. For example, if you ask people to come on Wednesday at 10 and then they come there, then they don't find anyone, they wouldn't come again. They would say, this is maybe not serious, or people are looking for something serious, beneficial, and also they look for something that gives them something else, like prizes, like competitions that they would like to keep on. If there is a competition between people, or if you give them results, if you create an English club. By the way, in Gigel, there is no English clubs, or there is no such cultural activities. There are a few of them, but it's not a trend in our wilaya. So you have to introduce it in a beautiful way, maybe an encouraging way. That's my point.
That's all excellent advice. Thank you, Fuad. Reej, what were some of the topics that you've seen in your conversation club, and what did your conversation club look like?
Well, I propose that we need to discuss more about real life situation topic, not a usual English course, or limit learners to specific and certain content, because it will be so boring. Because when engage them in a real life situations, they will show the desire and interest to learn such a language like English. I remembered once I read an article written by a Canadian professor. Her name is Bonnie Norton. She did some learning theories expert. She said that using a language in authentic situations is very important for learners because they will automatically show their potentials and their abilities. And she was right.
Wonderful advice. Thank you, Arid. And I think a great example of how you have put this into practice of creating a real life situation, a situation that people care about and want to use their English in, was when you helped do a Women's Day celebration. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course, sure.
What did that look like, and how did you get people engaged during that event?
Well, we started by announcing it in social media. And people, especially girls, were so excited to such an event. Then we put it into practice, and we did some games, some competitions between students of our school, and it was great. We get what we wanted.
That's wonderful. I think other interactive ideas, you can find so many resources online too, but you could do like a shopping day, for example, or restaurant day, making different scenarios. Those are great ways to have people be able to practice their English in different contexts. To our viewers tuning in, if you're just now tuning in, welcome to Nespeakiw show. Our episode this week is about how to create English language clubs. And we're joined by Fuad and Arij, who have both worked on and started English language clubs in Constantine, and now they are in Gigil. They're sharing some of their experience and advice with us today about how you can do the same. If you have a question, drop it in the chat, and we might be able to answer it today. Put your questions, comments in the chat, and we can answer them. We've got a couple of questions in the chat. One is from Mine Eden, and they're about, what can I do if I'm having trouble financing an English language club? A lot of times there can be difficulty paying rent, for example. What advice do you have for funding clubs? Something that comes to my mind is that you always have the option for virtual as well. So just like today, it's pretty low bandwidth. Anybody, with a good internet connection, which we know can be difficulties, but even from a phone or even without video, if you need, you can log in online. And that can be a very cheap way to hold a club. That you can also have participants from a broader area. So keep that in mind as a low-cost option. Fuad and Narij, any other advice about financing a club or funding?
So it depends on what do you mean by financing your club? Is it a big club, for example, that needs to organize big events, or you mean you need the materials in the venue of your club? So if, for example, you're talking about the materials, for me, I am an alumni of Fulbright Scholarship. The United States Embassy, the Department of State, offers grants for alumni and also to support English clubs or teaching English in many countries. You can apply for a grant at the U.S. Embassy via the United States Embassy, or immediately they announce them regularly on websites of the embassies around the world, or even you can make fundraising. If you need some small amount of money, you can ask your members, the members of your club, to donate some sums of money to buy things that you need in your club. If it's a big event, I don't have an idea about big events because I had an experience not in an English club, but in an environment club. When I was a student at the University of Constantine, we students created an environment club, and we organized a cleaning campaign, a big one. Then we had some of our members called the journalists from newspapers and radio, and they also called some sponsors. We found some sponsors to our cleaning campaign. Some pizza shops offered some pizza for the participants. And also we had the Ruiba company for juice. They brought us some of their products, juice bottles for free. And it's just like a promotion for their products. And for us, it is a funding for the food that we offer to the participants. That's about my experience.
Wow, you did amazing work with sponsors and all of that. That's amazing. Good job.
Yeah, you just start something and people would come to you.
Definitely. Arij, any advice on this topic?
Well, I think to start a club, you can start with something small, not just start a big club with events. And for example, you can just collect a group of your friends, of your colleagues in the university and go to somewhere, to a cafeteria or to a garden, and choose a specific topic to talk about. Before arriving to that matter of money and sponsors and financing, start with small things, then grow your work step by step. Just start it and go for it.
That's great. I love this advice, to start small, because sometimes it's just getting a project or getting a club off of the ground and going from there. Let it build momentum, let it grow. And maybe meeting once a week in the park changes to, you could ask a space, could you visit and use a space once a week, for example, trying to find a partner or a place to go. But don't let that get in the way. I think first forming a group can look right, and there's no one way that has to look. Like Arij, like Fuad say, you could have a small group, you could have a big group. Starting with your friends or your university is a really great way to get a group off the ground. We have some more questions coming in from the audience. Jenna asks, how do I improve my pronunciation and sound like American native speakers? Any advice?
Okay, I would go for this. I will talk about my own experience. To improve your speaking skills and pronunciation, you should start with the listening. You just listen and focus on, I do prefer that you focus on one accent, whether it's American or British or any other accent that you like or that sounds great for you. And also learning by immersion. I mean, you go and seek native speakers. Whenever you see a group of native speakers or students, if you are in a big university with international students or international events, if you are able to join international conferences, nowadays they are online, just go and practice that language and have a conversation with the native speakers. For me, when I was at university, we had the opportunity to have fellow teachers from the US. So I always was with them. So to learn their pronunciation, to listen to them, to ask them about how do they pronounce this, how do they say this. So this way is a good way and helping way. If you don't have an opportunity to meet with the native speakers, you can just listen, choose, for example, a source or a channel, a news channel or anything else, and try to get used to that language. to the sound of that language.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Areed, any advice for pronunciation?
Yeah, I advise her to visit the British Council website. It offers so many tasks about the listening and the speaking. It's really useful. I use it.
It's wonderful. And it's not exactly what the question was asking about pronunciation, but about vocabulary. One of the best ways to expand your vocabulary is by reading. So even if you're not absorbing 100%, figuring out a word from context it helps a lot. So even just simple like turning on your subtitles and reading there can help too. So that's wonderful. Another question we have from the audience, from Mimi Susu, give us an idea on learning how to speak English fluently in a short period of time. I'll turn it over to you guys, but number one thing that comes to my mind is practice, 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 and practicing with other people, likely in your conversation club, will help you achieve fluency, absolutely.
For me, I would like to advise her or advise him to make learning English, a big goal, so that you practice, as you said, Megan, you practice always. Try to find, if it's possible, try to find a teacher, try to find a study buddy. I mean, make a friend who is interested in learning English and practice together in every situation that you can get to talk about, and also make English, live with English. I mean, make it in your daily life. Read in English. Set your phone English, phone language as English. Watch English programs, English TV. So live in English so that you can get spontaneously, you can speak spontaneously and acquire. You will be just like you're learning automatically.
Absolutely. Maybe would you guys share some advice about how to start an English language club, but speaking in Darija, sharing a little bit about the basics and where to start?
Okay, so let me talk about English clubs in Algeria. سنتحدث الآن عن كيف تنشئ نادي للغة الإنجليزية في الجزائر. يعني هنا أنا نعرف 3 أنواع من النوادي. يعني نادي، إذا كنت أستاذ مثلا في الثانوية أو في المتوسطة، يمكنك تأسيس نادي بطلب من مدير المؤسسة، تأسيس نادي للغة الإنجليزية، تحديد أعضاء النادي يكونوا تلاميذ أو زملاء أساتذة، لأن النادي سيتكون من إما أساتذة وإما تلاميذ. الكل لديهم الحق في تأسيس نادي داخل المؤسسة يكون له أهداف من أجل تعليم اللغة الإنجليزية وتطوير مستوى المهارات في اللغة الإنجليزية. النوع الثاني من النوادي هو أنه إذا كنت طالب في الجامعة تريد أن تؤسس نادي في اللغة الإنجليزية، ما عليك إلا أن تتصل بالأمين العام للجامعة في بداية السنة الدراسية، يعني في بداية سبتمبر أو أكتوبر. تقدم طلب للأمين العام للجامعة، طلب تأسيس نادي للغة الإنجليزية، تحدد أهداف النادي وتحدد منهم الأعضاء ومنهم أعضاء المكتب، وتبدأ تحاول أن تجد مكان لهذا النادي، يكون ربما المكتبة، ربما الركن الأمريكي إذا كنت تدرس في جامعة بها ركن أمريكي، قد يكون حجرة دراسية. المهم أن تتفقوا على مكان وتجتمعون فيه من أجل هذا الهدف. الهدف هو تأسيس النادي والشروع في النشاطات. ومن الأفضل أن لا يكون نادي للغة الإنجليزية فقط، يعني تدرجون نشاطات تطوعية في الجامعة لكي يكون النادي ناجح. وهناك أيضا نوادي تؤسس بطريقة صعبة نوعا ما، يعني بالوثائق، مثلا كنادي في بلديتك أين تسكن، أو نادي في الولاية، أو حتى نادي وطني يؤسس مثل الجمعيات. يعني تقدم ملف لتجتمعون في جمعية تأسيسية مثل الجمعية، مثل تأسيس أي جمعية دينية أو رياضية أو أي نوع آخر من الجمعيات، وتتفقون على من يكون رئيس النادي، من يكون الأمين العام، من يكون نائب الرئيس، من يكون أمين المال، وكل الأعضاء تحددون 10 أعضاء بحضور محضر قضائي، يعني لازم تجيبوا محضر قضائي معكم، وتسلموا الملف إما للبلدية إما للولاية وإما لوزارة الداخلية، ويتأسس النادي وتحددوا النشاطات تاعكم بالطبع. ولكن هذه الطريقة تمر عبر فحص أمني، يعني يكون عندكم تحقيق أمني يقوم به مصالح إما الدرك الوطني أو الشرطة. يعني النادي ما لازمش يكون عنده أبعاد غير وطنية أو أبعاد تكون مثل أن تحاول اتصال مثلا بجمعيات عالمية أو دولية. خليه وطني، خليه عنده هدف يخدم الحي أو يخدم البلدية أو يخدم الولاية أو يخدم شباب الدولة وفقط، ولكن التأسيس نتاعو يكون أطول نوعا ما. هذه هي طريقة تأسيس نادي في الجزائر.
صح يا أخوات. وعريش تفضلي.
يعني أظن أنه أهم نقطة تبدأ بها باش تأسس نادي هو الأهداف اللي بنيتها باش توصلها. يعني مش راك تهدف وراء النادي هذا. يعني إذا لقاو يعني الأوتوريتيز، السلطات، يعني أي سلطة معنية أعلى منك، إذا لقات عندك أشياء مهمة حاب توصلها للناس ولا فكرة مميزة، بالتأكيد يعني راح توافق لك بكل سهولة. يعني بالنسبة لي شخصيا الشيء اللي نهتم به هو الفكرة اللي حابة نجسدها في الواقع.
صح. عندك سؤال, put it in the chat and we still have some time in our session today. We can take a look. Maiden Leban asks, how can I overcome my anxiety when speaking with native speakers? I would say just be brave. It's the hardest thing to do, right? But you just have to dive in. And I think you'll find, just like in any place, but speaking with a native speaker, they're going to be very patient, understanding, and more than anything, honored and happy that you're speaking their language and learning how to speak it. So just trying. I had dinner with someone, this is a few months ago. We spent a whole dinner. We spoke in English the whole time. At the very end of the dinner, he told me he had just started learning English 1 year ago and that he was really scared the whole dinner. I was so surprised because I couldn't tell in our conversation at all. And I didn't care, because what cared was that we were there together having a conversation. So just being brave and trying is the best thing you can do. Any other advice on how to overcome anxiety? Maybe speaking with a native speaker, but in general, I think, what advice do you guys have about overcoming anxiety when learning to speak English?
To overcome anxiety, I think that you should be sociable. Maybe anxiety comes from shyness. Maybe you are shy by nature. So try to be sociable. Try to go to talk to as many people as you can. Try to practice English with your friends first, and then go from the nearer to the further. And try to put yourself in situations that you've never imagined. For example, if you're a student at university and you're studying English, don't be afraid presenting, for example, or making a presentation about anything, or to face the audience. Go on the stage and say whatever you want. Forget about the audience. So let me say that now, maybe we have anxiety now, but when we forget that some people are watching us, some native speakers are listening to us, we just seem to be natural. But if you start thinking about who is listening to me, maybe I will make mistakes, maybe I will do that, I will do that. So you will confuse yourself, and you will lose the language that you have. So just be natural, talk to more people that you can, and go to situations that you're afraid of. Just go ahead.
Yes, fake it till you make it.
Yeah, and fake it until you make it. That's it.
What about, I mean, you guys have such amazing experience and you've accomplished so much. I mean, talking with you today, truly you sound like native speakers to me in your English skills. But maybe tell us about a time that it was more difficult or you were scared to inspire our audience.
For me, when I started my study as a student of English, I really didn't understand what the teachers were saying. So I decided to quit and choose another major. But some people advised me that it's only the beginning. Then when you acquire the language, when you learn the language, it will be okay. So I tried. Some teachers advised us to watch television news in English so that we can see what's happening around the world in English. Each time I tried with CNN, with BBC, but I couldn't understand a word. I would say to myself, no, I would never understand this language, because it seemed to me that it's very difficult at the beginning. And then step by step, I made English my goal. I lived in English. So my friends and I used to make our conversations 100% in English. So each situation, you have to describe it or talk about it in English. And as I said before, I set my phone in English. So each time, for example, missed call. So I know that missed call, it means مكالمة فائتة. So you can learn anything in English. That's it.
Well, we are lucky that you did not give up and your English is amazing.
Yeah.
What about you, Ariz? Is it always very easy for you, or do you have a moment to inspire our listeners?
Actually, I loved English since I was, I think, 10 years old, because I watched a lot of movies in English and I started listening to English music at a very young age. So my purpose is to study English, though I studied science. I was in a science stream at my secondary school, and my parents thought I will be a doctor or something, but I was insisting on English because I truly love it. And there is many ways to improve your level in English. For example, to me, I listen to music, I watched movies without translation, I watched news, BBC and CCN. I even talk to myself in front of the mirror in English, and I obliged my friends to talk to me in English. So I use every single opportunity I saw in improving my level in English.
That's great. And to our viewers today, just like Fuad and Arish, you can make your own English club. So we encourage you to get out there, get inspired from the lesson today, and maybe start small. And maybe it's just a few of your friends. You gather every once in a while, and then you start to meet once a week. Maybe then you get a partner organization. But none of those things are necessary. What matters is getting a group together and practicing a language together, so that way you have a group where you can learn and practice. So everyone joining today, I encourage you to subscribe on our YouTube if you haven't already. We have shows like this most Wednesdays. So at Wednesdays at 6 p.m., you can tune in live to hear about a variety of topics and speakers from the U.S. Embassy. I encourage you also to subscribe and Follow us also on Facebook and Instagram. Whenever we open up an exchange program, for example, like the teaching exchange program we talked about today, we announce that that program is open on our social media and tell you where and how to apply. So it's a great way to learn about more opportunities is to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much to all of our viewers for today who tuned in today. Hope you're inspired. We would love to hear your stories of starting your English club after hearing our live today. And Fuan and Arij, thank you both so much for joining today. Excellent, amazing, and inspiring work.
You're welcome.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you.